o'clock. I'm going to call the Village New Glarus Board meeting to order. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please have all cell phones silenced during the meeting. I look for an approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, public appearances and citizens' comments. No debate will occur with the board on items introduced by citizens. Items will not be acted upon at this meeting, but will be referred to the proper staff or committee if action is required. And I see there's 5 that would like to speak on the library issue, so we'll probably wait till we get down to that item on the agenda. But has anybody else got anything they want to comment on? Okay, hearing none. I look for an approval of the consent agenda.
Hold on. So we've had some discussion on the library that you want to hold off until that comes up.
If it comments from the
Right.
people.
So why don't we do those now? We've heard this over and over and over again. And I think we're going to hear the same thing again tonight. So why don't we let these people comment now, take their 3 minutes, and we get on with our agenda.
Is the rest of the board?
I have the wrong check.
I have, either way, it's fine with me.
Okay, well then, okay. First on the list is Jody Hosley.
It's short and sweet. I'm speaking tonight to thank you for the $1 million commitment and to request your support for the $500,000 matching fund that you discussed at the last meeting, which will help launch the new project forward. As you heard in the past couple weeks from many people from the public, the new Glarus Library is a well-loved and well-used community asset. Each year, the library sees 30,000 to 35,000 visitors, loans over 65,000 items, provides high-speed internet, and brings the community together for educational and entertaining programming. Programs and programming attendance continues to increase. In last year, there were over 3,600 attendees at the programs, despite the fact that the library is not ADA compliant. A new library will be more welcoming and inclusive and be able to do much, much more. Your investment with the additional $500,000 will show the community that you value the library too. At the last meeting, we also heard that everyone can get whatever they want on their phone or tablet. That is a privileged comment, and the reality is that New Glarus has a 7.2% poverty rate, and 16.5% of the New Glarus students are economically disadvantaged. Not everyone can afford to have a phone, a tablet, high-speed internet, and then go buy the books, DVDs, and other materials that they want that they can get for free at the library. Imagine what the cost value is for these resources for our residents. Just take an easy math. $10 an item, 65,000 items a year, that's $650,000 worth of value, and that's just with the resources. And most of these items are way more than $10. Your investment of the additional $500,000 will help build a library that can expand free resources for residents of all socioeconomic status. Libraries are a smart investment. I hope you will vote in favor of the matching fund.
Thank you, Jody. Linda?
Hi. I'm speaking tonight to address 2 topics. First, I would like to make some comments about those comments that were made in the last 2 village board meetings. And secondly, for your support in the additional $500,000 commitment for a new library facility. As a longtime New Glarus library trustee, I regularly review statistics from our library, and I'd like to bring some of those to your attention. Libraries transform communities. They are a necessary and vital asset to the community. The governing body of the Village of New Glarus recognizes this fact as it established and supports a municipal library. There are concerns about raising property taxes to pay for a new facility, in that libraries are being replaced by tablets, phones, and information kiosks. The public library is meant to provide cultural and educational services for all. Not everyone can afford a tablet or a phone, or the 50+ per month for the internet. At the library so far in 2019, the average monthly computer sessions reach 128. The library circulation of materials averages 5,746 items per month. And the average number of people who visit the library per month is 2,905. In addition, there are 3 weekly programs for preschool-age children. On average, 10 to 15 children attend each program, including story hour, music and movement, and free playtime. In addition, the summer reading program is very successful, with 300 children attending each month for the programs. All of these services save taxpayers money. To those concerned about raising taxes, need to realize in turn the money a library saves taxpayers as it provides services for free. In 2012, the estimated cost for the new library was $2 million, with the village committing to $1 million, which was half the cost. 7 years later, costs have risen, and as a result, the library will cost $3.5 million. The $1 million commitment made by the village board on September 17th is only 29% of that cost. An additional $500,000 would bring the public commitment to 44% of the cost, closer to the original commitment made. It is time to move ahead on this issue and get the library built. It is time that the donors see the donations they made in good faith be used as promised to build a library. Now is the time to continue your support and make sure the services that the library provides meet the needs of the community today and into the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Corinne,
Kareem.
I got it right this time.
No, you didn't, Kareem.
I didn't get it right again?
No.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
You'll get it one of these days. I hope I don't have to keep coming back. So thank you again for the $1 million last week. I am kind of going to speak a little bit to what some people have touched on. I would like you to support considering the additional $500,000. My first point, if there's so much current resistance to the library, where have they been at all of these meetings? To speak up during the public comment period. If they're unable to make the meetings, why aren't there letters to the editor? Why isn't there more on social media? Why am I not hearing it from more people? Second, the biggest resistance, again, is the access to materials. And that's, again, a place of privilege. Because if you're able to make those privileged to determine what everyone else has for options, then why do you care if your property taxes go up $4 extra a month? That's negligible. I added on to my home because I have a family child care. My home value went up $100,000. With that value, my property taxes went up. However, as a business owner for children, I also receive services that help with those children. So my property taxes went up, but the snow plowing I still need this police service to make sure that nobody runs my children over as we're crossing the street. I still need all of those things, and I'm willing to pay more as a business owner because I realize that that's part of my business and part of how my business runs. I'd also like to bring up the operating costs. So our swimming pool, how much do we pay for that? Out of everybody's property taxes, whether they use it or not. I've gotten into arguments with people at the pool because they've said, why do I pay more if I live out of town? Well, because in my property taxes, no matter what, I'm paying for the pool whether I use it or not. How much are we paying for 3 months of use for a building that gets used? Because we do it because it's important for the children to be able to learn how to swim. It's important for people to have a place to go in the summer and to gather. It's important for our triathlon and other things that the community values. Same thing with us when we come to the library. I'm actually partnering with the library to do a screening of No Small Matter. Over 100 people have come and seen this in our village. I've heard from universities they can get 20 in. So people care about the children in this community. We're trying to do it here at the library, but there's no place for the kids to go for their parents to watch the film because there's nowhere in the building that we can safely put the kids. So we're going to go ahead and do it, but we're not going to have childcare available. And when you're doing a video about childcare and the deficit, and you can't have a place for the kids to go so their parents can come see it, that's going to impact how many people are able to come watch. So thank you very much.
Okay. Greg?
Well, thank you in advance to those of you who are willing to hear us out over and over and over again, regardless of our viewpoints. You know, it's frequently been implied, sometimes even said, that village boards, present and past, are at fault for the delays of this library project. History is a powerful tool. Revisionist history is a dangerous weapon. I'll show you in the next couple of minutes that revisionist history is exactly what's being employed now in an effort to extract more money from village taxpayers. On April 17th of 2012, the library board presented a document to the village board entitled Library Expansion Effort Summary. It proposed a $1.25 million fundraising goal, a mid-2013 groundbreaking goal, and it stated, we believe the building should be approximately 17,000 square feet, and the total building cost should not exceed $2.5 million. That brings us to the events that are shown on the timeline that's in front of you now. In June of 2012, the village board committed to $1 million in borrowing and $50,000 in cash for the project on a 5-2 vote. On October 16th of 2012, we were asked to reaffirm our commitment to that financial commitment, and that passed on a 4-3 vote. On December 4th of 2012, a document authored by Library Board Village Board Liaison Kevin Bunsberg indicated that a 14,800 square foot facility could be built for $2.3 million. And then, on April 16th of 2013, we were asked once again, this time directly by Kevin Bunsberg, to reaffirm our previous financial commitment to the library project. This time that vote failed on a 4-3 vote. And I've never understood this. If a kid asks mom for a cookie, and mom says, yeah, go ahead and have the cookie, the kid takes the cookie. The kid doesn't say, Mom, can I have a cookie? Mom, can I have a cookie? Dad, Mom said I could have a cookie. Can I? But we were asked over and over and over again for reasons that I don't understand. All along, the library board was raising money. In early December of 2012, they'd raised $595,000. By early January of 2013, that was $630,000. And by mid-April of 2013, that was over $700,000. The December 4th, 2012 document proposing a 14,800 square foot facility at a cost of $2.3 million equates to roughly $155 per square foot. At that cost, the resources that were on hand in early December of 2012 would have been adequate to build a 10,600 square foot facility. More than adequate to provide for everybody in this community who doesn't have internet access at home, as well as a host of other services and amenities. But apparently that wasn't good enough. There's a saying, the perfect is the enemy of the good. The library board held out for perfect, and in the process,
Your time was just about up, ready, so you gotta wrap it.
in the process, they've denied the community of a good facility for over 5 years. That's not the fault of village boards past or present, and it's not up to village taxpayers to fix it. Thank you.
Victoria?
Hello, I'm Victoria, I'm a village resident. So when I'm evaluating the claim, I want to know the when, the why, the how, that justify that argument and justify the need to fulfill said claim. Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, which I think is incredibly relevant here. The evidence in this situation has been lacking and mostly absent, but opinions have been abundant to try and support the claim that we need a 12,000 square foot library. When we last met, an opinion was shared regarding a hypothetical little old lady with a $100,000 house who some asserted should afford $4 extra on her tax bill for the proposed library borrowing. Side note, please let me know where I can find a $100,000 house in abundance in the village of New Glarus. My family is currently forced to pay $230 per year in property tax for the operation of a library that we admittedly don't use. If the village board gives the library board what they are asking for, which is one, next year's 18% increase in operating budget for the current library, a $1.5 million borrow for a new library, and an extra $1,000 per week to operate the new building, my family is forced to pay $490 per year for a library that we still won't use. I have heard a statement profusely directed at the village board. Let's get this built already. We just need the village board's contribution to make it happen. The other very consistent opinion that I have heard is libraries are good, a bigger library is good for the community. Assuming that this sentence holds true, which I think is true, libraries are great and this one provides a lot for the community. Assuming that the sentence holds true, it provides no evidence for the claim, again, evidence, that they need another $500,000. Just because this one premise of libraries are good holds truth does not mean that this kind of library is supported. Our means of consuming information has changed. Develop a library that allows people to drop their Netflix membership, stop paying for audiobooks and Amazon Music, etc., and create a library with a robust lineup of downloadable material, and then maybe we'll be willing to pay $490 per year. The library board is working so hard to provide this community with a state-of-the-art 20th century facility. There's one problem with that. It's the 21st century. The library board wants all of us to pay for the library facility that they have always been dreaming of having. Thank you.
Okay. That's all of the people that wanted to speak. Are we ready to move on now? Item 6, then approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move approve. Like that? Okay, sorry.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 7, finance. Item A, discussion, consideration, commitment of additional funds to funds to library project.
I guess I'd like to say a few words, if I could, because this has been on my mind for quite a while. I personally love the library, and I actually completely believe it will be relevant in the future. As people always need a place to gather and share resources. I believe that. And the origins of the library system are a group of people got together in the community, and they started taking donations and asking people what they had available to share. The people who had donated, and the people who needed borrowed, and then it became a place where many communities used it as a legacy. Carnegie made it a big thing where he donated large amounts of his fortunes to build library. Ludlow did it. I don't think it was ever intended to be on the taxpayers. I think it was meant to be a community thing. I agree that today's society doesn't quite get the concept of sharing your wealth instead of buying fancy status things for yourself and making sure that you're taken care of to a higher level than what's needed, but whether what's wanted, which is why I did think that we needed to go ahead and give some taxpayer dollars. $1 million was a lot for our village to do. I've looked at the numbers, I've looked at where it puts us on the borrowing limit. I believe in the library. The numbers just don't add up for us to go over that. It makes me sad that I have to say that. It's a sad sign of our times that people put value on other things, but I cannot, in good conscience, because the very people that I think are the ones who can't afford the tablets and can't afford that come to the library are the very ones that can't afford us to stretch the taxpayer dollars out anymore. I want to help fundraise. You can put a beautiful sign, I'll put one of those signs in my yard, but you're asking the wrong people for the money, and I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Just look at the numbers. It's too heavy of a burden. To put that on our people is too heavy of a burden, that's just my opinion.
Oh, that was very well said, Tammy.
Sorry.
I certainly understand your feelings, I know it's emotional. I disagree in the fact that it is such a great burden on the taxpayer. I think, at the most, from what our figures show, maybe $10 a month for the proposed borrowing. I don't think it's on average or median house value is probably closer to $7 or $8 a month. I don't think that's too great a price to pay to have a library. I know there are people who have spoken out as saying libraries are passé, they're a thing of the past. We don't need them anymore, we have the internet, yada, yada, yada. For them, that's probably true. But I think that's a vast minority of our population. And if libraries are really so inconsequential, why are all the communities around us building new libraries, funding new libraries, really striving to improve their communities is what they're doing. This isn't just about going into a library and checking out a book. It's an improvement for the community. It's not just a repository for books or a place where you can go and use the computer. It's a cornerstone of the community. It's a meeting place. It's a meeting place for the people of the community. And as such, I just don't see where that amount of money, I mean, obviously,